هو الذي ينزل على عبده آيات بينات ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور وإن الله بكم لرؤوف رحيم.
AUS is pleased to convene this morning to show how business, industry, and education work together to fulfill the needs of the UAE. We open the door wide to the flow of idea and talent between the private sector and private education, so that the enhanced synergy flows both ways. We are all at work together to devise the best in raising standards of living and preparing the human capital, the young leaders of tomorrow, for our region of the world. Therefore, we gather under His Highness's aegis and in the presence of Your Highness Sheikh Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi to demonstrate how business and university can partner to better sustain a diversified and vibrant national economy. I do wish you well, a most dynamic interaction in the panels that will follow. Thank you very much for joining us in developing human capital for a better UAE and a better GCC. I now would like to invite to the podium, as it is my distinct honor, to introduce our Chancellor, Professor Thomas Hochstetler, who, as we all know by now, joined the American University of Sharjah from distinguished positions at both Rice and Stanford universities, as well as having been at the helm of Lewis and Clark College. Professor Hochstetler served this university both in establishing research and the academic side, being at the helm of the provostship, and more recently, over the past 12 months, maintaining the steady course of this university under the leadership and the vision of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi. Colleagues, distinguished guests, would you please welcome to the podium Professor Thomas Hochstetler.
We at the American University of Sharjah have always been committed to focusing on issues that have a bearing on how business and industry are run in our region. Today's event aims to bring expert opinion to the fore as speakers discuss and debate important contemporary topics in a wide variety of areas such as entrepreneurship, technology, energy, banking and investment, innovation, and media, among many others. As many of you know, this event comprises two parts. One is today's event, the Business Forum, that we are all participating in, and the other is the annual career fair, which takes place tomorrow. Since its very beginning, the American University of Sharjah has placed great emphasis on excellence in all of its endeavors. Our dedication to being organically linked in to local industry and commercial concerns cannot be overemphasized. Mr. Jaffer is the chairman of the board of the Crescent Group of companies headquartered here in Sharjah for over 4 decades. In addition to his primary business in oil and gas, he has a variety of global commercial interests, including container shipping, terminal operations, transport and logistics, real estate, power generation, and private equity. Mr. Jaffer is the chairman of Gulftainer Limited, a founding shareholder of the Uruk Group, as well as founding shareholder of Abraj Capital. He is also the founder of the UAE chapter of Young Presidents Organizations. I didn't know that. It's something I learned just today. And the World Presidents Organization as well, and is also a member of the International Chief Executives Organization. Mr. Jaffer is well known for being an active supporter of many charities, particularly those in the aid of handicapped children and cancer patients. Please welcome to the podium Mr. Hamid Jaffer. Hamid.
This morning I'd like to address what I believe to be the most important and challenging issue of our time, a colossal problem that is facing us like a time bomb, that of youth unemployment. In so doing, I will highlight the responsibilities of education, higher education, and of industry, the private sector, in resolving this most challenging of issues facing us today. Fortunately, AUS is a beacon, a great example of how to contribute positively to resolving this enormous problem, an example that we need to nurture and further develop, and to set an example for others to follow. Moreover, and I'll describe this more in a few minutes. Before that, however, let me describe and frame the incredible magnitude of the youth unemployment problem I'm talking about. I can best do so by citing a few examples and statistics. The MENA region, our neighborhood, has one of the fastest growing populations in the world. The MENA region's population, in fact, has tripled over the past 4 decades to over 360 million people. That's not at all that clever, because MENA's youth unemployment rate currently stands at well over 25%, which is the highest in the world. And believe it or not, the World Bank estimates that 100 million new jobs, I repeat, 100 million new jobs, will need to be created in the MENA region in the next 8 years, just to catch up with global average employment. This is a mammoth challenge, as 100 million is equal to all the jobs that have been created during the 20th century here or in the MENA region. Yet the solution to the problem is not that complicated, and we in the UAE are demonstrating really how it can be done. In contrast to the MENA region as a whole, the population of the UAE has in fact grown by a factor of 30 during the same period. In other words, some 10 times as much as the average, already significant MENA growth. We must constantly keep in mind that from here on, it is only the business private sector that can shoulder the bulk of the burden of solving our youth unemployment challenge. So in a nutshell, let's put resources and heads together to resolve at once what amounts to being our greatest challenge as well as our biggest opportunity for a bright and prosperous future. Sustainable, productive job creation will only come about by investing in education as the preparer and co-opting industry as the enabler. Obviously, this requires close partnering of industry with education, which is what this forum is all about. Lastly, a footnote. I believe that each and every one of our universities should establish its own industry advisory council to candidly and continually assess the skills needed for our graduates to acquire and compete in our global, fast-changing economy. Such advisory councils would continually keep their universities appraised of the needs of the ever-changing job market. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jah, for those enlightening and insightful remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed fortunate to have truly accomplished and well-respected names in the world of business with us today, as you have just heard. Following Mr. Jaffer's remarks, I am therefore pleased to introduce to you our keynote speaker for the day. That was the inaugural address. Now we're going to have the keynote address. With over 25 years of experience in the media and advertising industry, Mr. Pierre Choueiri leads the Middle East's largest media representation group as the chairman and CEO of the Choueiri Group. Raised in Beirut, Lebanon, Mr. Choueiri graduated with a degree in economics from the American University of Beirut. He began his career in 1988 under the guidance of his father and the Choueiri Group's founding chairman, Antoine Choueiri, as a junior sales executive with Alain Media Management, which handled, at that time, Abu Dhabi Television. Mr. Choueiri became a permanent resident of the UAE in 1994 to participate in a highly accelerated growth phase of the Choueiri Group. This important stage in the group's development led to the establishment and success of many of the group's most prominent companies. In 2003, Mr. Choueiri oversaw the establishment of the group's regional headquarters in Dubai as Group Managing Director and subsequently as CEO in 2007. He assumed his current role as the Choueiri Group's Chairman and CEO in 2010. In carrying on the legacy of his late father, Mr. Choueiri's leadership continues to strengthen the group's position as the premier regional player that creates unsurpassed value for advertisers, advertising agencies, as well as media owners. Outside of his busy work life and professional commitments, Mr. Choueiri is known for his unrestrained passion for automobiles and motorsport. You have to have fun as a CEO as well. And he is also an avid boating enthusiast. May I now request Mr. Choueiri to come to the stage for his keynote address.
I would say that all entrepreneurs share a unique mix of the same instincts and qualities. But is it all about having vision or just being passionate about goals? How about having extraordinary drive? Doesn't initiative and having the willingness to take risks also play a role? How about business ethics? How important is it for an entrepreneur to be armed with any or all of these personality attributes? Let me begin by sharing Choueiri Group's story with you. As a family business, which started over 40 years ago with just two people, my father and my mom. The group has grown to a family of 800 plus professionals. Today, we exclusively represent 31 television channels, 16 print titles, 12 radio stations, 32 web portals, cinema halls, and the largest network of outdoor signs in the GCC. The group's widespread footprint extends to 10 markets across the MENA regions, Europe and Japan, with a network of 12 subsidiaries and 4 representative offices. The values which went into establishing our company are the same ones which continue to take us forward and drive our success into the future. Later on, he investigated this matter in Saudi Arabia and found out that people in the kingdom were in the habit of renting VHS tapes and making copies to pass on, instead of purchasing the content. Based on this, he founded Video Force in 1983 and pioneered the sale of commercial advertising space on videotapes that were being rented out by video clubs across the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. My point here is that it takes visionary skills to identify, seize, capitalize on opportunities. And the sooner opportunities are seized, the better. Being the first to market is something which the group has acquired in its DNA. It's become second nature to us, and in all instances, it has helped us to sustain our innovative edge. A more contemporary example of risk-taking that I will share with you came as recently as 2012, when we placed aside the overwhelming socio-political turmoil which led to the Egyptian revolution and signed the exclusive ad representation of the leading TV group in the country, Al Hayat TV Group. Most of the market's players thought that this was a very risky move. We soon proved them wrong, with advertising sales witnessing spectacular double-digit growth. Needless to mention, the skeptics are now on the other side of the fence, thinking that this was probably the best move ever. But what is that really drives entrepreneurs? I think that they are driven by passion. Passion makes them dig deeper and aim higher. It's the key to any action and achievements moving forward, be it in life or in business. It sustains and motivates us to meet the toughest goals, even when things seem impossible. I hope that sharing my experience with you today has helped you to see that for entrepreneurs, every piece of the puzzle is linked. Your vision guides you, your passion and drive sustain you, while your initiative, willingness to take risks, and business ethics will help you to achieve bigger things that you had thought possible. Your experiences make who you are, and who you will grow up to be. This is why starting from the very bottom and inching up that ladder of success is so crucial. No single moment of the climb up should be missed. I wish you all the pleasant journey, the pleasant of journeys in your own endeavors and rise to the top. Thank you once again for your time and the honor of having me here.